Welcome to the Broadway.com show, your go-to guide for everything happening on the Great White Way. I'm Paul Wantore.
And I'm Imogen Lloyd-Webber. This week we hit the red carpet for opening night of My Fair Lady, head backstage Anastasia with Max von Essen and more.
And later, award-winning opera stars Gardar, Thor, Cortes, and Meghan Picerno chat about the national tour of Love Never Dies. But first, let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Imogen?
The 72nd Annual Tony Awards has found its host, or rather hosting, duo. Music industry comrades and Broadway alums Sarah Bareilles and Josh Groban have been tapped to compare the awards night together. Bareilles earned a Tony nomination in 2016 for creating the score of Waitress, while Groban picked up a nod for his performance as Pierre in Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812 last year. Now the pair will return to Radio City Music Hall, but this time as the MCs on Broadway's biggest night. The ceremony is scheduled to broadcast live on CBS at 8 p.m. on June the 10th.
Do you think they'll hand out pies and pierogies?
I wish, but no.
3 stars from the 2013 off-Broadway staging of Choir Boy will reunite for the play's Broadway premiere next season. Jeremy Pope, Tony Award winner Chuck Cooper, and Tony nominee Austin Pendleton will once again tell the coming-of-age story of Ferris, a talented gay student who shakes the traditions of his prestigious prep school when he is named leader of their celebrated gospel choir. Choir Boy will mark the Broadway debut of playwright Terrell Alvin McRaney, who is best known as the Oscar-winning screenwriter of Moonlight, which also won the Academy Award for Best Picture. Performances start December 27, 2018, with opening night set for January 22, 2019.
The 2018 Pulitzer Prize for Drama has been awarded to Martina Mayok's Cost of Living. A story of 4 very different people in 4 very different circumstances, each trying to get by, the show made its world premiere at Williamstown Theatre Festival in 2016 and played off-Broadway at Manhattan Theatre Club last year. The Pulitzer Prize for Drama is presented to a distinguished play by an American author, preferably original in its source and dealing with American life. Mayok will receive a prize of $15,000. This marks her first Pulitzer win. Finalists for the honour included Everybody by Brandon Jacobs Jenkins and The Minutes by Tracy Letts. Congratulations to all.
Dying to hear more about the Cher Show? We've got you, babe. Stage alum Teal Wicks and newcomer Michaela Diamond will join the previously announced Stephanie J. Block in the Broadway-bound musical. The 3 actresses will portray the legendary star Cher in the new musical based on her life. The trio is among an exciting cast that also includes Jared Spector as Sonny Bono, Emily Skinner as Cher's mother Georgia Holt, Michael Barres as Bob Mackey, Michael Campagno as Rob Camilletti, and Matthew Heidzik as Greg Allman. The musical will premiere in Chicago, playing an out-of-town run at the Oriental Theater beginning June 12th for a 5-week engagement through July 15th. It will then begin previews on November 1st at Broadway's Neil Simon Theater, with opening night set for December 3rd.
So, 2 former Elphabas are playing Cher.
Yes, but the big question is, when will Cher play Elphaba?
We have casting for the first major New York revival of the 1995 Tony-nominated musical revue Smokey Joe's Cafe. The company is set to include Jelani Remy, Alicia Umfress, Carl Taylor Parker, Dwayne Cooper, Emma Degerstedt, John Edwards, Dion D. Figgins, Nicole Vanessa Ortiz, and Max Sangerman. The musical showcases pop, rock and roll, and rhythm and blues standards composed by Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller. Joshua Burgess will direct and choreograph the production, which is slated to begin performances at off-Broadway venue Stage 42 on July the 6th, officially opening on July the 22nd.
Hadestown, the mythical musical that premiered off-Broadway, is winding its way to a Broadway bow. The work of singer-songwriter Anais Mitchell and celebrated Great Comet of 1812 director Rachel Chavkin, the folky, jazzy show that follows Orpheus's quest to overcome Hades and win his true love Eurydice, first bowed at New York Theatre Workshop in the summer of 2016. It then played at the Citadel Theatre in the fall of 2017 in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, with 3 Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark stars, Reeve Carney, Patrick Page, and TV Carpio. Now Orpheus and friends are headed to London for a bow at the National Theatre later this year, running from November 2nd, 2018 through January 26, 2019, prior to a Broadway bow next year. Casting for the London and Broadway productions of Hadestown will be announced at a future date.
When we come back, we learn all about Once on This Island's imaginative set with designer Dane Laffrey, go behind the scenes at a glam photo shoot for Summer the Donna Summer musical, and more.
This week on Broadway.com, the band's visit star Katrina Lenk and Carousel's Joshua Henry sit down on Show People. Escape to Margaritaville's Paul Alexander Nolan indulges in some backstage shenanigans and more.
Wasting away again.
Don't waste another minute. Critics are calling it Paradise on Broadway. And Entertainment Weekly says Escape to Margaritaville will knock your flip-flops off.
Now I think about the good times down in the Caribbean sunshine.
It will transport you on a high from start to finish. So don't miss Broadway's Good Time musical.
Welcome to Margaritaville.
Don't let the party start without you. Get your tickets today.
Hi, I'm Erica Henningsen. And I'm Taylor Louderman. And you are watching the Broadway.com show!
Welcome back. Lerner and Lowe's classic musical My Fair Lady officially returned to the Great White Way this week in a lavish new staging directed by Bartlett Sher. We hit the red carpet on opening night of the Lincoln Center Theater production to get the scoop on this loverly revival.
This is just the best. The best. It's just such a great celebration for all of us who've been working so hard to make this show and get it ready, and now we're opening.
It gave us a chance in this era to look at Shaw and to look at the source material differently and to rethink the sort of power structure between Eliza and Higgins and to see who they were now. I felt like it was just the right time. I felt like it meant a lot. I felt like it was something we could really get behind and really learn from.
It's particularly thrilling because working with Bart Sher is so great because he's so specific, and this is not just an evening of a great revival of a wonderful musical, but it's also a piece which is, I think, extremely relevant for today.
I think it's important when you're doing something like this that you're asking the audience questions. I don't think every day that I'm changing the world. If I can move someone to question what their beliefs or think differently or empathize with people they wouldn't normally, then great.
According to the stars, it's a total love fest offstage.
I just adore the people that I'm working with. I mean, that, there's so many things you could say about the play and the music and all of the things, but this is just such a lovely group of people that I am so grateful to come to work with every day and to also witness each and every one of their astounding artistry. It's really breathtaking.
It's a really tight ensemble. So, in that big number, that Get Me to the Church song, we're all really interacting with each other, and we've only been seeing each other for 2 months, so we're tight, It's just the sharing that happens on stage, and it's so fun when everyone's in the same game and you're tossing the ball or whatever. That's really fun.
We laugh a lot.
Yeah.
You can't take yourself too seriously. I don't let them.
Yeah.
Yes, they're wonderful. They're really wonderful. I hope young women come and realize that they can develop themselves into a whole person if they feel fractured or diminished in any way, because that really is the story behind this play, this musical.
They work hard for the money, but boy do they make it look easy when they work for the camera. Summer, the Donna Summer musical stars LaChanze, Ariana DeBose, and Storm Lever strutted their hot stuff for a photo shoot at New York's swanky downtown spot, Vandal. Check it out.
Set designer Dane Laffrey's work in the Broadway revival of Once on This Island captures the devastation of storm-ravaged Haiti and helps to find hope in the central character's journey. Watch as he reveals what inspired the making of this musical's imaginative world.
We wanted to respectfully and honestly place this in a setting that had a reality to it, that was contemporary and that felt fresh as we were looking to sort of reinvent how you interpret Once on This Island. There were many streams of research. We were looking at what Haiti looked like after the earthquake in 2011, what it looked like after Hurricane Matthew sort of further battered the island in 2015. We were looking at voodoo practice.
Set in the round at Broadway's Circle in the Square Theater, Once on This Island truly brings audiences up close and personal to the storytelling.
And so we knew we wanted to capitalize on the advantages that Circle provides to really make an immersive world that begins the moment you walk in the door. We have this world of this kind of like storm-battered but like surviving, amazing, resilient island, and then this theater in Midtown Manhattan, and how you fused those things together or collided those things together was a really important thing for us to be considering. The walls of the theater are falling in, and it, there's plastic covering parts of the ceiling. It wants to feel like both places have sort of like come together and amalgamated and are now like living and breathing together and experiencing the same things together. So we, the audience, sort of feel as much a part of the story as opposed to simply witnesses of it. It was extremely important to me in this design as we were conceiving it, as we were drawing it, as we were beginning conversations with the fabricators about it, that we would sort of stick to our guns about trying to use as much salvage material as possible. So the truck, for example, is a real truck. It was sort of painstakingly disassembled, reinforced, made into like a sort of flat pack, like IKEA situation, and then reassembled, looking exactly like a real truck. Who knows how many miles those tires have, been on, or like how long the rust on the bumper has been accumulating. And that's always really exciting to me. I think that it's those sort of details and that heart that an object can have that really like make an environment like this. And I love this story in 2018 because it is talking so much about division, a single place that is divided along the lines of race, of class, of belief system. It contains a hopeful message about the way it's possible to sort of like bridge those worlds, or that the power of storytelling can be unifying and restorative, bringing the audiences into the space every night, facing each other, creating a community for, 100 minutes with our storytellers and experiencing that story is a really, really powerful thing. And it's so wonderful to see people coming and putting their feet in the sand and sharing that with us.
We love a sneak peek inside a Broadway dressing room. Anastasia's Max von Essen recently welcomed us to his digs at the Broadhurst Theatre to show off some of his favourite things, including fun fan art, great gifts and environmentally friendly finds. Take a look.
Hey guys, welcome. One of my favorite things, I keep in my dressing room, some of the fan art we get. This is just a little sampling because truly we get so much from our incredible fans that it would be impossible, like I would literally plaster my whole room. But these right now are just a couple of my favorites and I'm just kind of obsessed with. We get so much and it's all so cool, but these I'm featuring right now because I love them. This is a bowl that actually my boyfriend gave me as a gift, and I don't know, I just so drawn to it. He knows that I'm super into like, I don't know, just being green and recycling things, and he found it in a shop. We don't know exactly where it was made in Africa, but they take all these wires from phones and different electronics, and then these people actually like weave these baskets together with wires from electronics. So I don't know, it's just kind of a nice reminder for me to like remember that things can have another purpose and you can discover a new way to use something that might have been discarded before. So I don't know, I love it. I just think it's so beautiful. So I've got these bamboo utensils that I got from the Broadway Green Alliance, although you can get them pretty much anywhere online, or you can go right to the BroadwayGreen.com. I keep them in my dressing room and then I toss them in my bag too, so that wherever I go, I never have to use plastic utensils or anything anywhere. So just imagine like every day never using a plastic utensil again. Or chopstick. If you couldn't tell, if you don't know me, I'm kind of into art in general, and I like to keep things around that either just like inspire me or I love, that get me in the mood for the show, or just something that I love to look at. And these are two of my favorite pieces that I keep in here. The top one was a gift from William Ivy Long, who's a good pal of mine, and my school that I went to college at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where William went to, and I was actually honored by the school last year. And William spoke on my behalf and said some really beautiful things and presented me with this beautiful painting he did. And this is a vintage map of Russia that I found actually just on Etsy. It was like $10. It's out of a book from the 1880s. But I had it framed, and it's just something, I didn't want to like go crazy in my room, get all like, you know, Russia and get all themed, because I didn't know how I'd feel about it all the time. But it's just this one thing I kind of can look at right before the show, or just have a sense of and know that it existed at this time period, that it's something like my dad could have given to me at this time period. And so it kind of, it's just something that very quickly like inspires me and can put me right in place for the show, so I love it. And this last thing, a good friend of mine gave me to celebrate my opening in the show, these nesting dolls of the Romanov family, which I think they're so cool. They're so pretty, all hand painted, from this store in New York, which I never realized, St. Petersburg, New York, I think it's called, down on Lower Fifth Avenue. And it's just like so gorgeous, and just keeps going. First is Tsar Nicholas, I think. I don't know who they all are, but I just think they're so cool, so beautiful, and they just like keep going. It's one of those like small things that I can just like look at and feel and get a sense of like the period and what we're dealing with in the show, and just like the map of Russia, it just kind of gets me in the mood. So I love this gift from a good friend of mine. Well, you guys, thanks so much for checking out my dressing room and seeing a couple of my favorite things here at the Broadhurst Theater, and come see us in Anastasia.
When we return, a sit-down with Love Never Dies national tour stars Gardar, Thor, Cortes, and Meghan Picerno.
SpongeBob is brilliant, dazzling and boldly theatrical, and one of the best Broadway shows of the year. SpongeBob SquarePants.
The North American premiere of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Love Never Dies, the sequel to The Phantom of the Opera, is currently touring across the country. Led by award-winning opera stars Gardar, Thor, Cortes as the Phantom and Meghan Picerno as Christine Daae, Love Never Dies picks up 10 years after the events of Lloyd Webber's seminal musical and finds the masked man running Phantasma, a vaudeville theater on Coney Island, while Christine is now a famous opera singer in Europe, married to Raoul, and mother to a young son. But when Christine comes to America to perform, news of her arrival reaches the Phantom, who quickly lures her to Phantasma, where the scene is set for high drama, grand music, and extravagant entertainment. Picerno and Cortes sat down to talk with each other about playing Lloyd Webber's legendary star-crossed lovers, what thrills them most about catching up with these characters all these years later, and why the Phantom and Christine's dazzling but doomed love will never die.
So, Meghan, I've been dying to ask you this for a long time.
Tell me, Gardar.
What does it feel to be playing Christine? What does it feel like?
I don't know. Do you feel this way? Like when I'm on stage, I am that person.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's really enjoyable. It's very difficult, but very, very nice and very filling. You know, it gives you a lot, or gives me a lot.
Why?
Because the character's so complex, many-layered, and interesting.
Seeing this story,
yeah,
they could be separate. I mean, I thought it was interesting when they sent us to see Phantom of the Opera, after already knowing this story, to see where our characters came from.
Yeah,
I think that was really, it was really neat. It was cool and exciting for fans then that did grow up
on Phantom.
Yeah, because then they find out what happens to all of us.
I know. I mean, it is a sequel. It is. I mean, it is Phantom 2.
Yeah.
Love Never Dies.
But it can be separate, I think.
It can.
I think it can.
I mean, it can. If you haven't seen, you don't have to have seen Phantom of the Opera to see Love Never Dies. I so enjoy this 10-year gap that has happened and seeing how the people have changed, like people do.
Live more life.
Live more life. Some become bitter, some don't. Some become kinder, some become weaker, some become stronger.
I also like the idea of, in any sequel, how they pick one moment in time that we're finding these characters again.
Yeah.
So for me, the fact that it has to have all these different circumstances so that they're all brought together once again, I think that's an interesting part of the story. Finding 10 years of experience, what happened to her? 10 years is a really long time. Speaking from personal experience, I'm not the same person I was at age 20, thank God. I was cooler at 20, but that's okay.
Really, though?
I know, I'm cool now, so that's fine. No, but I think it's really interesting as a woman, how does she mature regardless of time. I know it's at the turn of the century, so there would be different rules and different stipulations of what a woman can and cannot do, but I think a woman is a woman, and all the things that she's gone through. She's not a child anymore, and I think being a mother really alters her as well, because she has other responsibilities aside from just to herself.
Yeah.
And how does she deal with marriage, a marriage that's not going so well, a career that's taken off, you know, being famous, being successful. And I think it's juicy. I think, like,
yeah, very.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel, I don't know if you feel this way about Phantom, but in this sequel to Phantom, I think that we can really dive into the character work.
Oh, so, yeah, I so
You know
agree.
what I mean? Like, there's so
agree.
many layers.
He says himself in the show he's not as strong. I don't know if he means physically or mentally. That's something to explore. But he's been pining for her for 10 years, doesn't stop thinking about her. And
Well, and she obviously doesn't stop thinking about him.
Obviously.
For lots of reasons.
Exactly. He's more at home there than he ever on Coney Island than he ever was in Paris, because here he can walk amongst the people, because everyone's strange, different, freaks and peculiar people.
That's one thing that really struck me about our show is the opening of the show, how insane and crazy it is with all the different freaks
It
and
sets
circus.
the tone of where he has lived for the last 10 years.
You're right.
What it's like, and he's more freer in that sense.
But then when the boat comes and Raul and Christine and everything, it's such a contrast.
I know.
It's pretty incredible.
I know, it's a very strong opening.
It's a stark contrast. The love between Phantom and Christine is one of those primal loves. I think we've all felt it.
Yeah, I would.
It's moths drawn to a flame. Both of them can't live without the other one for many reasons. And so when that type of person is in your life and in your sphere, your peripheral vision or right in front of you, I don't think you have a choice. It completely overtakes you. And what's interesting is, you know, in the first Phantom and even here, like the dressing room scene, he has this power over her, but it's mutual. They have a power over each other.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yes.
They cannot live without each other.
I know.
And so the moment they're thrown back into each other's lives, this intense passion and love, they can't get away from it.
Yeah. Do you think it's stronger now, the love, the passion, than it was?
Yeah, I do.
But I mean, it was so strong in Phantom of the Opera. It is so strong there.
But that's the beginnings of it.
I know, I'm just,
So it's the beginnings of it, and then they had 10 years to constantly think about it, fantasize about it, miss it, hate it, love it.
Because it can either die or grow. I mean,
love never dies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and in this case, it's. I think it's grown, you know, tenfold.
Well, and again though, but I think, I don't know. Have you ever, in your personal life, like when you meet someone that's like that, you have no choice. You're completely overtaken.
Yeah.
So you hate them, you love them, you hate that you love them, you love that you hate them. You don't. You know what I mean? Like you're completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And so it's 10 years of pent up passion that suddenly is unleashed, and you get to feel it again for the first time. It's confusing, it's amazing, it's awful, it's wonderful.
I think this is Andrew's best score. I mean,
Same.
Yeah.
I think it's the most romantic and the most beautiful.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. He's so good at writing melodies, and they catch you.
Immediately.
Just,
like the moment the orchestra begins, for me, I'm swept up into this new world.
I know.
And I know both of us are constantly singing everyone else's songs. They get just stuck in your head. They're so beautiful.
The first, what was the first song or piece that you heard from this musical? Do you remember? Mine was Till I Hear You Sing. That's the first piece. Yeah.
Hopes pass, the dreams pass, let them die. Without you, what are they for? I'll always feel no more than halfway real till I hear you sing.
First time I heard that, the Phantom's main song,
I mean, it's stunning.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You know, for me, I always I always
it's
have...
so lush. Everything is
lush.
so...
That's such a good word for it. It's so full and romantic.
I know, the orchestration, it's just...
It's very operatic, quite frankly, I think.
It is.
I mean, it's the first It's probe we ever had with the orchestra.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
It was lovely.
The music is stunning. It sets a foundation because he's so particular about how emotional the music is. So for me, I feel immediately some groundwork has been done for me because you know, you have this underscoring that sets the tone, and it's beautiful.
When we come back, a performance you'll never forget from Riverdale's Carrie the Musical episode.
Wasting away again in
Don't waste another minute. Critics are calling it Paradise on Broadway. And Entertainment Weekly says Escape to Margaritaville will knock your flip-flops off.
Now I think about the good times down in the Caribbean sunshine.
It will transport you on a high from start to finish. So don't miss Broadway's Good Time Musical.
Welcome to Margaritaville.
Don't let the party start without you. Get your tickets today.
I'm Victor Garber, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Thank you for watching the Broadway.com show.
We leave you binge watchers out there with A Night We'll Never Forget from Riverdale's Carrie the Musical episode.
See you next week.